Okay, for you guys out there who are renting trailers out or just starting out, you're undoubtedly going to come across some situations where a repair needs to be made. It's inevitable. It's going to happen. If you have the ability to, I would highly recommend that you learn to make your own repairs. It's going to save you a ton of money versus taking it down to someone else to do it every single time. A few tools, and here's the thing, you don't have to have a professional metal shop to be able to do this. All you need is a few inexpensive tools. You don't have to buy the highest quality stuff. Inexpensive tools will get the job done, and they will help you get off the ground. They will help you take off. Look, I've got an angle grinder. It's a Ryobi. It does the job. But what I'm going to show you right now in this video, I have this for cutting metal because you're undoubtedly going to have to weld something together. But I also have this 20-some-odd-year-old Skilsaw, and what I want to show you to save you tons of time. This was a lesson learned for me. I've had the Ryobi angle grinder for some time, and I've probably used this thing a dozen times or so. Probably made a dozen cuts, and the cuts that I'm making are 3/16 angle iron or 3/16 just a flat bar of steel. That's what I have been doing up until, well, that's the type of steel that I'm cutting through, and I've probably done about a dozen with this blade. This is one of the diamond edge abrasive blades for cutting steel, and if you've ever done this, you know what this does versus this Diablo steel demon. Goes on a 7 1/4 inch circular saw, and I'm going to show you the difference between the diamond tipped abrasive blade on the angle grinder and this one. So check this out. I really should have something clamping this down, making it more secure. All right, just for time comparison, I had actually already started on this bar in a previous cut, and the video just stopped recording. I don't know why. Just like it did just there. I don't know, maybe it's the GoPro, I don't know. But I barely got through the corner of the angle iron. I don't know if you can see that, but I barely got through the corner, and I guarantee you the sucker's hot because I burned myself. Look at the discoloration. Look at the discoloration. I don't know if you can see that real good or not, but where I have been cutting, it got so hot inside there, about a 1/4 inch in there, that it is already discolored. Now, I'll show you something with this Diablo steel demon blade. And you also know how, if you've used an abrasive blade before, not only the discoloration, but you know how it's essentially just melting your metal, and it usually leaves a pretty jagged, ragged cut, and you have to go and clean it up with a wheel grinder, just so it's usable to be able to weld. Check this out. All right, my clock on this video says 1:30 right there. Fifteen seconds. This thing, cool. I mean, it's warm. I'm not gonna. But it's maybe a little over room temperature. Nowhere near burning my finger, The only thing that's going to need to be cleaned up is a little bit of the edge. As the last part that was cut, and as it was getting to that point, it got so thin that it just fell off and broke off. If it was a piece of wood, that would be a splinter we'd sand off. So that'll be just a little bit of grinding. But the quality of a cut that this thing is going to give you, you don't have to do a lot of cleanup work on the edge. Man, it is almost like a factory edge. Maybe better than a factory edge, to be honest with you. And the speed at which it's going to do. And that blade's 40 bucks. $40 blade. I bought this diamond coated blade a few months back. I honestly don't remember how much it cost me, but it probably wasn't inexpensive. So look, an angle grinder has a place in your toolbox, okay? Not saying never get an angle grinder. An angle grinder has a place in your toolbox. This is not going to get extremely close to something. If you want to make a very, very close cut on something, say you needed to go up against an edge really close, this isn't going to do that. That was because of the circular saw, right? The guard on here. But it is going to make your life easier when you go to make certain cuts to be able to make welds, to make repairs. So you don't have to spend a ton of money to get a professional shop. Listen, I have a Lincoln Electric weld pack that is a flux core welder, and it runs on 110. You don't have to have a 220 plug. I would not do structural welding with it, I'll tell you that. It welds 1/16 with a single pass, no problem. Or for 3/16, they recommend that you do a double pass. It will do it. It will do the job. I have welded these onto a couple of different spots on the trailer, and they actually have lasted longer than the manufacturer's weld did in that particular spot in that particular application. So I did a double pass because it's just thicker. So that was not real expensive as far as a welding machine goes. You can get a stick welder, a Lincoln Electric stick welder, for a few $100s if you've got a 220. I don't have a 220 outlet in this shop, and didn't particularly want to spring for an electrician to do that. Maybe one day I will. Okay, maybe one day that's something on the to-do list. And maybe one day I have oxy-acetylene torches, and I have dedicated metal cutting saws, and I'm not just putting a metal cutting blade on a 20-year-old Skilsaw. But for now, that is what I'm using. It has helped me get off the ground, make repairs in an inexpensive way, and it can help you too. So if you got any questions, comment below in the video. I'll be glad to answer. Good luck out there.